Got that. Okay. Happy March, ladies. For those of you who were on the meal planning workshop, we already discussed how excited I am for this March. I am normally not this excited, but I mean, I think we can all agree that this winter has been a doozy. So yay, spring. I'm so excited for this call tonight. We're going to do check-ins. We're going to talk about carb cycling, one of the greatest things in the world. And we're going to talk about stress, not one of the greatest things in the world, but something that's pretty unavoidable. So we're just going to talk about the physical effects of stress and how to deal with it, how to manage it. There were a couple of kind of common questions I saw in the check-in sheets. So I'm going to just answer those for the group, and then I'll send everybody individualized feedback tomorrow from the check-in sheets that you guys sent me, if you sent me one. Sorry, I have a little sore throat, so I have a Jolly Rancher. Okay, why don't we start with check-ins, and I'll just take note if there's more questions I can answer that come up, and I'll just answer kind of them all at the end. Mary, do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, after I listened to the video, because I missed the Saturday session, it all came to light for me. So I was doing a couple things wrong, but the most important, I think, is, well, I wasn't tracking. Like, there were days that I didn't track, and I'm realizing I have to be very consistent. And then we want to track Monday through Sunday, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So even though we don't turn it in till Tuesday, that gives us a little bit of time to do the previous week.
Exactly. That gives you some breathing room. Or you could be like a, overachiever A+ student and do it Sunday night if you wanted to. But that gives you a nice, window of time to do it.
Okay. So mine might be off and I don't know if I should go. I think I just go forward, Monday through Sunday, but
just go forward. Yeah. Cause I looked at yours and it looks like you're eating about 2 spoonfuls of food the way you have it reported.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, this can't be right.
Yeah.
But that was my other question. So even if let's say I'm dead on protein, and let's say I'm just slightly under on fat, but really under on carbs, that's still not a good thing, right?
Right. We want to be right at the limits, because it's really like use it or lose it. Like if you don't eat all the calories that you are allotted, your metabolism is going to start to slow down.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to get over this. I've spent my whole life focusing on calories,
right,
and always being under, or trying to be. So I just have to shift my whole mindset. And we have to also track like wine. I love my wine.
Yes.
So you have to, right? Because that's a carb or a sugar.
Exactly. So alcohol, I will talk all about alcohol probably next week or the week after. But just for how to track it, it does count. We count it. It's either a carb or a fat, because alcohol itself has calories. It's like the secret fourth macro. Just for the record, each gram of alcohol has 7 calories in it. So now that everything is like low carb and like keto friendly, there's a lot of marketing that will say like this White Claw only has like 3 carbs, but it actually has like 100 calories because it has the alcohol calories. And so what we do is we just take the total calories in the drink and we allocate it to either carbs or fat. And if you want to get real fancy with the math, you can split it. But so like, let's say, for example, there's 100 calorie White Claw, since we're talking about White Claw. If it's 100 calories, that might be 4 calories per gram of carbs. So you got 25 grams of carbs, or 100 calories. If you're counting it towards fat calories, it'd be 9 calories per gram. So it would be like 9 grams of fat, 9 or 10. And I have a really handy reference chart that has like all the common drinks and how you can allocate them. I'll share that in the Facebook group. The other thing is a lot you can scan in on MyFitnessPal, but just like anything, you need to be careful because some of it might just have the calories and it will have 0 macros. And we're tracking the macros. So,
Right.
so the best thing is to kind of do your own investigation and make sure you're like using your critical thinking skills as well. And then sounds weird, but you can weigh it out. Like put that wine on the food scale and be like, okay, I'm getting my 3 ounces of wine. I'm really going to enjoy the heck out of it. And then I'm going to track those calories.
Okay. All right. Getting there.
You are getting there. This is a learning process, you guys. It's a whole like shift in both like learning mindset, even the calorie thing, right? It's not how low can I go with the calories? It's like how spot on can I be? That's a whole mindset shift. It's a lot. So give yourself grace. Know you're doing awesome. And we'll get there.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? How's your back feeling?
It's better. I'm standing because it hurts when I sit down, but it's definitely better. So
okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So even though I'm getting 8 hours of sleep, it's probably not a good because I'm up a lot. So yeah.
Were you able to do any workouts or even like yoga, stretching kind of stuff?
I've been stretching every day. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Is it improving?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, awesome. Thanks for that. And great question. I'll be sure to post the info in the Facebook group. And then probably next week, since it came up as a question, we'll go all about alcohol and how it affects our body and the pros and cons.
Okay.
Okay, Michelle, will you go next, please?
Yeah. So I feel like I'm doing all of the things. Like I'm drinking water, I'm tracking food, I'm getting really close to my goals on like protein and macros. I'm, getting in more walks than I usually do, getting into strength training and doing like the journaling and meditation. So I feel like I'm doing all the things.
Yeah.
And then like I haven't had any noticeable like body fat loss or change in clothing fitting differently, but I do have more energy finally and a little bit less stress, so that part is kind of nice. And it could be the sun, it could be the warmer weather, but I am enjoying that and having a little bit more wakefulness during the day.
That's awesome. And I love the energy up. I've seen that kind of across the board on people's feedback. So that's, it's definitely from the sun. I'm not gonna discount the sunshine. But it's also the nutrition and the water and the focusing on yourself. Also, your steps are way up.
Yeah.
From where they were. And then also I think with you, I want to adjust your macros and bring them down just a little bit from where we started, because you have been really being consistent and you're not seeing any, any like loss yet. And it's been because we started a little bit early with you. So it's been a little while. So I'll do that when I email you your individual check-in. And just for you guys who that's why I'm kind of like preaching, like get consistent. Because if you're consistently hitting your macros, then I can see, is this working? Or is this not working? If it's working, awesome. If it's working, we could even maybe add more calories in, which is when it gets really fun. But if it's not working, if you're not seeing any progress and you're being super consistent, then we just keep tweaking it, until we get it right. It's a little bit of an art form and being kind of like a metabolic detective, but that's why I ask all those questions and kind of have you guys be as consistent as possible.
Yeah. I have noticed, like, now that I'm like dialed in, I'm in the mindset, I'm tracking, I'm realizing like, oh my gosh, there were times in the past where I would just go flying over those calorie limits or goals, or, whether it be like, a stop by DQ and then like a little rosé all day. Like, so I'm a little nervous for the summertime because there's definitely some of those habits that are going to come up. But I'm like, well, no wonder.
Yeah. It's easy. I mean, that stuff really adds up, especially if you're adding in alcohol. And then because you've been drinking, you're like, let's have a snack. It can really add up. And it's also why, if you look at the average population of this country, we're overweight and we're sick and we're sedentary. So, those cultural habits are pretty ingrained and they're pretty common. So the great thing of having this group is a support of like-minded people to build some new habits, and get really strong in those, so that you have tools to like still enjoy happy hour and still enjoy social gatherings and stuff like that without feeling like you need to totally throw away your goals, and you can still have a good time, because we all deserve to have a social life. Right? And hit our goals. Like, you get to do both for sure. Okay, Ambria, how about you?
Hi.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just working on everything a week behind. So I haven't started the weight training, but I finally figured out my macros and everything this week. But I have some deal breakers, so I don't know how they fit into it. Like, I'm not willing to give up my alcohol.
Mhm.
I'm not willing to give up my lattes and my cheese. So my fat is like out of control. But then I'm like, well, they're my deal breakers. So even today I had my third latte for lunch instead of, I'll choose that over food. I needed a little caffeine. So that's just my part, is I don't know what to do about it, but it's like, when you talk about the enjoyment, I'm like, I'd rather have my wine than eat, or, if I have to choose. So I now know. So I think, good. And then I am getting out to walk, but I can't figure out how that I'm going to fit something else in, like with the weight training. So I have to figure out, but like Michelle said, I can't even imagine what it used to be. Because like I could eat, a frozen pizza for lunch, which would be everything. And that was just,
Sure.
So that's been kind of, I knew I had gained weight, but now it's right in my face.
Yeah. So that's like, I wrote down your question because I think this comes up often, and it comes up like at least every time I do this group, there's one or more people who are like way over their fat. And there's a couple things. First of all, like, how many lattes a day do you have?
2 or 3, but so I use, I can go without the syrup. That's no big deal, but it's 3 cups of oat milk, which must be high in fat. So I should double check, but yeah, 2.
You make them at home? Is it an oat milk latte? I don't think the oat milk is very high in fat. See, this is why we actually look at the numbers.
I guess I should look. I just kind
of, because there's not like good or bad food, because I was going to say, if you switch to like skim milk or something, but I don't think oat milk is actually very high, because oats don't have any fat in them.
Right. But yeah, I think that's what's pushing me, because I could just eat that or drink that all day.
So number one is really just looking at the numbers and taking away that like good and bad label and being like, okay, like how much does each one of these actually have in it? You're not over by that much when I looked at your numbers. If you're tracking everything right, I think you were over by like 10 grams or something. It wasn't really that much. But there's like easy swaps. Like I'm Swiss, you guys. I grew up like eating cheese for every single meal and drinking milk. But now I have always like the reduced fat cheese. For a while, I just wasn't eating any cheese, but I switched to like the reduced fat cheese. I have it on my eggs and on my sandwiches. And there's a much lower fat and higher protein. So like you can make swaps like that, where it's like, you're not really losing. Same thing with dressing. If you're switching to like, if you love like blue cheese or ranch dressing or something like that, you could switch to light. Or same thing with like feta cheese. You can usually get like a light one. There's actually a fat-free feta cheese from Trader Joe's, and it does not taste the same as the regular feta, but it's pretty good. And it's just straight protein. So, making swaps like that can really help, and they add up. Just like a little one, each meal, can add up pretty quickly, especially if you're over by like, 10 grams or something. So I think that's number one, is actually just look at the numbers and see what the culprits really are. Because it's a lot of times it's not what we think it is.
You're right. I'm looking at it, and it is only 5 grams of fat.
Yeah. So like,
I thought that was what was pushing me off. Now I'm what else do I have to cut out then?
so
I'm sure that was
I think we're friends on MyFitnessPal, right?
yeah. Well, I'm sure it's the cheese. I'm a, good Wisconsin gal.
Mhm. So I will look at your MyFitnessPal specifically when I do your check-in and see what other specific tips I can give you. And other times it might be just a matter of like portions, like 1 slice of cheese instead of 2. You're right there, you're cutting it in half, but you're still getting the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going over, oh yeah, Halo Top ice cream. Thank you, Michelle. Oh my gosh, Halo Top is like bodybuilder ice cream. It's high protein. You want to give a shout out to Halo Top, Michelle?
Yeah, so Halo Top is like my bedtime treat. And it's how I'm getting through this. Honestly, I look forward to that. It's a ton of protein and it has fiber in it too. It has added fiber. So it's reasonable on the calories.
I
Yeah,
love it. It's really good. Yeah.
you have it too. Yeah, I love it. I also love that it's like a pint size. So even if you go nuts and you eat the whole thing, I think there's 300 calories. Where if you have Ben and Jerry's, there's like 300 calories in like 1 spoonful, maybe. So yeah, stuff like that. Halo Top is amazing. And then the other thing, I've had clients before who were eating a lot of nuts and nut butters because those are healthy. And they 100% are, but they're also super, super pure fat and calorie dense. So that might be something to look at too, if you're getting nuts for, peanut butter, stuff like that can really add up. So, okay. That's probably enough. I think you like starting to pound a dead horse now, but does that help, Ambria? Okay, awesome. You're doing great. Keep it up. One week behind is still amazing. And I think like you're not the first person who's been like, okay, but like look where you would have been like 2 months ago, right? So it's amazing. Okay, Laura, how about you? Laura and your lipstick. Okay.
Right? I know. And this has survived like mask wearing today. It's Maybelline Stay whatever, and it has stayed.
It really does.
So let's see. I think I'm kind of starting to finally do it again. So I've been consistent with my macros. I had a couple days where I went over on fat, but Annie adjusted my macros last week, and I something in my brain just being able to go over on carbs. I mean, I'm now within, but what would have been over before.
Mhm.
It's just so much more doable. So I'm planning ahead,
Yes.
which is great, and I worked out.
I
Yay!
loved your little workout day gift or meme or whatever that was.
Oh my gosh. And it felt really good. I did your workout, your January leg workout. So I'm going to do that on Tuesdays and then upper body on Thursdays.
Perfect.
And it felt good. And like today I'm sore, but it's like, oh, see, you want to feel this way. Like this is good. So, and I have been going on a few walks. So I wrote my goals down like on the one page of my planner. And so now every day when I'm opening that, I see them right in front of me. And I think that's helpful.
Yeah, that really helps. Just to see them over and over and over again there's a lot of research shows that helps us, just reminds us like that, and put them in the realm of possibility and doableness. Awesome. Okay, thank you for that. Yay. Phoebe, yay, perfect timing.
Sorry, I was gone there for a minute. I had to transition.
That's all right. Do you need a minute? If you need a minute, I'll share with you guys.
Yeah.
Miriam is gonna take a break. She was, as you guys probably picked up, not feeling well at all from her pregnancy. And she and I talked today, and she said she just really, she feels like she's trying to do everything perfectly. And at the same time, she is knocked on her booty by being sick every day. And so she and I are just going to stay on touch and do some one-on-one stuff. And then she's going to join the January group next year after her baby comes and when she's ready to get involved with this stuff. So she said to say goodbye to all you guys, and she will miss you. And she's really enjoyed getting to know everybody for the past couple weeks.
Give her our best.
I will. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Phoebe, now
All
it's
right.
your turn.
So in listening to what everyone else was saying, it's just, Mary, I agree that being part of this group is just so much a part of it is sharing the good stuff and the not so good stuff and the questions. And it just makes you see that you can do it, and that everybody's going through the same thing, and we're not perfect, and we're being vulnerable and sharing that. And I think that's the power of that is huge. So thanks to all of you for that.
Yes.
This week, I think the session on Saturday was really helpful. I realized that I'm tracking every day, but I'm more reacting instead of being proactive. And I'm not hitting anything really, but I know that I'm not. So at least there's that. I mean, my history was I ate nothing all day and then ate Amy's frozen spinach pizza for dinner every night, and that was pretty much it. And, 2 handfuls or 3 of peanut M&Ms. So my metabolism was whack. And I think that's going to take some time to figure out, for my body to figure it out, and for me to not expect immediate results. Because I'm not seeing, I feel better. I feel a little more resilient, which is exactly what I need. Stress is relative. It's like, I've had the same type of job for 40 years. And so it's not like there's anything new that's causing me more stress other than the pandemic. But, there's a lot of things that have made things less stressful because of that. So it's more just a resilience factor of getting worn down. And when anything new comes up, it makes it, when you're on the edge and you think you're fine and then new things come up, it's like, when you're not resilient, you can't, it tips you over. So I think that has been helpful. And I think just the water and the tracking and actually starting to eat food on a regular basis has helped. So, Annie, I do have it all ready to go. I have pictures and everything for you. I just haven't done it yet. So I will do that tonight before the night is done.
Awesome. I looked at your check-in sheet, and I'm just going to toot Baby's horn. You're down 1 inch in your waist.
Yeah.
Hello.
So how much weight difference should there be between morning and night?
Oh, that's a good question. The question I was prepared to answer was, how fast should I be losing weight? Am I losing weight fast enough? I feel like I should be losing weight faster. So your body can fluctuate. I weigh anywhere between 180, 190 pounds. My body can fluctuate up to 5 pounds a day. And honestly, I will wake up, drink an Nalgene of water and a cup of coffee, and it will be 3 pounds heavier an hour later.
Right.
So that's why I want you guys to be weighing in frequently, because and at the same time of the day. So you're kind of eliminating some of those inconsistencies from water, food, going to the bathroom, stuff like that. But it can happen. It will fluctuate from stress, lack of sleep, carbs in your system, water in your system, retaining water, cycle stuff. There's so many things. And so that's why I really hope you guys can look at the scale objectively. It's just data, it's just feedback. We're getting a long-term trend line, and these fluctuations anywhere, honestly, from 0 to 5 pounds is super normal daily fluctuations.
I like the morning number better.
The morning number is always better. That's why I
like
say
that.
wake up, go to the bathroom, take off all your clothes and your watch and everything else, and then get on the scale and then drink your coffee and your water and whatever. Yeah, the morning number is definitely a good one. As far as if anyone's kind of thinking like, oh, should I be losing weight faster? How fast should I be losing weight? It really depends. And it depends on your body. It depends on your dieting history. Like, so some of you guys who have kind of like know we have maybe a messed up metabolism from under eating, it's going to be a process of healing that first and feeling stronger and more energized before you can actually like start to lose. And that has to be okay. The rest of you who are like just straight ready to lose weight, it really depends on your body, but around like a pound to a half a pound a week is where I love to see my clients. It's a super healthy, steady weight loss, and it's sustainable, and it's not going to cause additional metabolic damage. Like you always see like headlines of people like, I lost 10 pounds in 5 days doing this, or I lost 40 pounds in a month. Those people crash and burn and they gain it back like plus some. So I hate those. But I am really happy to say that like almost all of my clients have had that slow, steady weight loss. And they say like, I can keep doing this for the rest of my life. I don't feel super deprived. I don't feel like I'm on a diet. I just feel like this is a new way of doing things. Like, yes, it's maybe a little more disciplined where you're not falling into couple bottles of rosé all night, but you also know what to do if that does happen, or if you end up eating a whole pizza, which I also can eat a whole pizza. Like you guys, you kind of get to like, okay, this is okay. It's a long-term healthy life thing. It's not a crash diet. It's not a 5-day detox. It's not how quick can you lose weight. It's slowly getting to where you want to be. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay. Awesome. BB, thank you for that update. Love it. Any other questions that I can answer for you guys before we go into carb cycling? Yes, Michelle.
I have one.
Yeah.
So let's say we do a little rosé all day and we go over.
Yes.
What do we do the next day?
Oh, that's a great question because it's going to happen.
Happen.
It may not be rosé. It may be pizza. It may be ice cream. It may be, who knows. If that happens the next day, I want you to go right back to your macros.
Okay.
Don't try to restrict. Don't be like, oh, okay, I'm going to eat nothing today. I'm going to like eat half my calories today because yesterday I ate double. I just go right back to it. Drink more water, get more steps, get more sleep, let your body just flush it out and do its thing. And then think about what can I learn from this experience and how can I do better next time? Because
I feel so less alone now.
Yes. It happens, you guys. It happens to me. One of my clients last week, one of my one-on-one clients was like, do you ever go over your macros? I was like, girl, let me tell you about time. You're talking to a secret fat kid. I know how to go over every single way. But yeah, and the other thing is don't, like mindset wise, if that does happen, don't punish yourself. Don't feel guilty, because that will kind of get into that like guilt, shame, punishment spiral where you feel bad. And then you're like, well, I'm already bad, so I might as well eat the whole bag of Oreos. Right. Yeah, it happens to everyone. It's super, super common. So, just try as soon as you can to get back on, whether it's the next meal, the next day, don't need to wait for Monday or the next month or anything, but just like next meal. Okay, cool. We're just right back on it. That's a great question though. Any other questions? Okay,
I have one question about
Sure.
like, what if you don't like a lot of the foods that have a lot of protein in them?
Oh, that's a good question, because protein is not the most delicious macro. No one like binges on cottage cheese or chicken.
No, I did put cottage cheese in my salad last night. And I'm like, is this worth it? Maybe, but it's 7 grams of protein. Is that worth it? I'm not sure.
No, you should be able to find stuff that you like. What is it specifically, like proteiny stuff, that you don't like?
I'm not a big fish eater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big egg eater, although I'm learning to eat more eggs because I have a history of high cholesterol. So I just basically stopped eating eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I basically stopped eating everything except carbs, and coffee. So it's mainly those. And so I'm just, I'm like halfway to my protein goal. And that seems like an insurmountable mountain. So
Right.
that's where I am.
Okay. Yes. If only I had a slide totally prepared to talk about how to get more protein. Let me share my screen with you guys.
Yeah, that list that you shared with us before was pretty short. It's like beyond your meats and, and cottage cheese and stuff, it's like tofu.
Right. I don't like that either.
Yeah.
Okay. So is this the same list or is this a different list?
No, I think it was a different one. It was, yeah, there's more on here.
Okay. Yeah. So this is just sort of like things, I mean, they kind of overlap because obviously you could eat, there's no rules. You could eat anything for any meal, but protein shakes are a great way to get stuff in for, oh yeah, is that the collagen protein, Laura? Yeah, so collagen protein, I don't use it, so I can't like really say like any pros or cons, but I have a lot of clients who love the Vital Proteins collagen protein. And Laura said in the chat, 18 grams of protein. It tastes like nothing, and you can just throw it in your coffee or probably water or smoothie. So I should probably add that as an option. Where do you get it, Laura? Just like Costco or grocery store?
Right now, you can get it at Costco for $25.99, which is like $5 cheaper than at Target or on Amazon.
Okay.
And they do make flavors too. So they make like a vanilla one that you can throw in your coffee. But if you just get like the plain like blue bottle, it doesn't taste like anything. So it's a super easy way.
Does it make your coffee taste like there's creamer in it, or does it really taste like literally nothing?
I can go grab my can and I'll show you what it looks like. The normal one literally tastes like nothing.
Okay.
If you get the creamer kinds, those do taste.
Okay. Like creamer. That makes sense.
It looks like it turns your coffee creamy colored.
Okay.
Is it a powder?
It's a powder, yeah. And they make a bunch of different flavors. Like they make one that tastes like a juice, and but that's the brand, Vital Proteins. So if you don't have a Costco membership, you can get it at Target or Amazon, but Target or Costco has a really good deal on it.
That's great. Could you just post a picture of that at some point in the Facebook group, Laura?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I also really encourage everyone to start using protein powder or to make a protein shake, or I mix it in yogurt for my afternoon snack or in oatmeal, just to get that boost when you don't, because there's only so much meat you can eat. Can also get a lot of protein from cheese, like especially if you have the reduced fat, like slices, I always add that to eggs and get extra protein that way. Fish. So I've also started using our slow cooker to make like batches of meat. And I know some of you guys do this too, who I've known for a while. We've made, we always do Taco Tuesday, as you guys know, and we made beef barbacoa tacos. And I thought I didn't even like beef. It was amazing. Like we threw some like ground chuck in that slow cooker with the seasoning from Target, and it was so good. Like we all scarfed it down. Even Freddie, who's 5, asked for a second taco. So that could be a thing, is like using seasonings and like the slow cooker. there's a ton in the like global foods row at, you know, at any grocery store, like taco seasoning, chipotle, barbacoa. So that's kind of fun to play around with and mix it up. I'm trying to think what else on besides like on this list, how I use it. That's kind of all I have, but like this is a lot on this list. And I think it's just like, another thing that's helpful is having small servings or not, you know, smaller meals throughout the day. And I know you're starting to do that more, BB, but you know, so you're not trying to get like 50 grams of protein at one meal, but it's more like 20 or 30 kind of couple times throughout the day. That can help too.
I think that's probably the key, because I'm proud of 3. I'm at 3.
Yeah.
you
That's
know?
amazing. I mean, that like you just need to stop and be proud of that.
Yeah.
For real. Right. And then so when you're feeling good with that, and then be like, okay, like maybe you could do 4. I like to have, and I recommend to a lot of clients doing like Greek yogurt as a bedtime snack. And those Dannon ones I keep raving about are so good. The fat-free Greek yogurt they're really good. Like they could be a dessert like in themselves. So that, you know, could be an option, kind of like a protein. And it's great to have protein before you go to bed. It really helps your body recover and your mind recover as a bedtime snack. Then we have Halo Top ice cream, always as a way to get your protein up. Lots of ways. Another one could be like protein cereal. I know we talked about what is that cereal called again? Well, Magic Spoon. Yeah, but like mix some protein powder again in with your milk, and then just have that. You don't need to get the Magic Spoon cereal, but just like any cereal, but that would give you like 20 grams of protein and some carbs.
And here's one. I don't know if you like chocolate milk, but this one has been good. So I don't do, it's lactose free, but it's 13 grams of protein. And you can buy the light, so it's not quite as much fat, but I don't know, maybe not the healthiest, but it is a lot of protein packed into.
Yeah, that's a great option too.
The Fairlife brand is the one I found with the most protein.
Fairlife chocolate milk. Ambria, could you post the picture of that in the Facebook group too? That would be great. Yes. Okay. Awesome. And I think I mentioned this before, but I'm going to sort of like gather up the things that I swap that are like higher protein, lower fat, or, you know, just lower fat in general. And I'll share more of those as well. Because there's a lot of good stuff out there that is kind of like macro friendly, and those just like little swaps can really add up to getting us to hit our goals. Okay, that was a great question. Thanks for asking that, baby. Anyone else questions before we start talking about carb cycling? Okay, this is so exciting. Carb cycling is you guys are gonna love it so much. Okay, so carb cycling. So I love this picture of the sort of example of how a lot of people approach the weekends, right? They're super disciplined. I don't know if you guys can see this. I can't make it any bigger, but these plates have like chicken breast, sweet potato, broccoli, chicken breast, sweet potato, broccoli. Like they're super healthy. They're hitting those calorie goals 5 days a week. And then it goes Saturday, there's a pizza, 3,700 calories. Sunday, there's like a fast food meal, another 3,700 calories. So when you work so hard to be all week in a calorie deficit, and then the weekend can kind of just come along and ruin that in a second. So the answer to it is not to just like white knuckle through it and never have any delicious, fun food on the weekend. It's just to plan for that. And that's what we call calorie cycling, and specifically carb cycling. So what it looks like is if your goal is 2,000 calories as your average goal that you picked, we do a little bit lower Monday through Friday, and then 2 days a week, you plan to be a little bit higher. And notice it's not 3,700 calories, it's 2,500 calories. So it still evens out to this average calorie goal. So really, really nice because your average calories for the week are still the same. You're getting the goal, but it actually has it has really important health benefits to your actual like long-term health and your weight loss goals, which is that it prevents metabolic adaptation. Because we talked about that a little bit, where our metabolism is always adapting to what we're giving it. So if we're in a calorie deficit, that's awesome, and we're going to start losing weight until our metabolism gets hip to the game and it slows down too. So what this is doing is it's essentially like a 2-day diet break, kind of tricking the metabolism to be like, things were down here. And then we're like, nope, just kidding, we're up here. And then it's like, oh shoot, okay, I have to keep burning up here. And then you're like, psych, we're back down here on Monday. So it kind of keeps your metabolism on its toes, I guess is a good way to explain it. It also is really helpful because it's sort of like a mental break and like an emotional break from always being so disciplined to hitting those macro and calorie targets. So you can plan for some treats on the weekend. You can plan for brunch or popcorn or a drink or something like that. And you can fit it into your macros and kind of have something to look forward to on the weekend, rather than always having to be so disciplined, which is also a stressor on our body. So it's another way to de-stress while we're actually doing something really good, which is ramping that metabolism up and restoring our hormones by replenishing the carbohydrates in our body. So it's like win, 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 win. And it's going to help everybody with their long-term weight loss goals because it's going to keep your metabolism high for the long term. Any questions about that?
Do you still have to meet your macros though in that
Yes.
2,500 calories? Yeah.
Yes, that is a really good question. It's not like a cheat day. And that's, a lot of people talk about like cheat days on their diets or stuff like that. And that's, again, like you guys are like hitting your macros or like just getting comfortable with that. And I'm throwing this little like monkey wrench in. So it's another kind of mindset thing where it's not a cheat day, or it's not even really a cheat meal. It's just, you get to have a couple more treats, and it's not that much higher. It's maybe like one special treat or extra dessert, or maybe it's like an extra piece of bread at each meal. Like it's not that much higher. It's not like go crazy, and we're still keeping our protein and fat the same. So your calories are going to be a little bit higher just because your carbs are higher. And one other thing to keep in mind is we're just increasing the carbs. So a lot of times, the first time I did this, and a lot of my clients are like, yes, I'm going to have cake, I'm going to have donuts, I'm going to have this. And then they realize that those are pretty high in fat also. So things that are really higher in carbs that are not higher in fat are, those things we traditionally think of as carbs: pasta, bread, waffles, rice. It's a great day to have like Italian food, have an extra slice of garlic bread, maybe with brunch, over the weekends, maybe it's pancakes or waffles that don't normally fit in. Could even be 2 glasses of orange juice. It's not that much. Fruit obviously is straight carbs, no fat, very little protein. Vegetables are a great source of carbs. It's going to be hard to get up to your high carb day with just vegetables though. So like I would, do lots of vegetables on your lower carb days. And then applying the 80-20 rule, you could do like bread, pasta, and fruit, but then have some popcorn or have some candy corn or Easter treats or whatever, or shamrock shake, which is coming up soon. But again, the planning is really important, because the more you can kind of plan ahead and be like, this is the treat I'm looking forward to, or this is how I'm going to allocate my extra carbs, the more you're going to set yourself up for success, versus just like, oh, I don't even know. Some people get so like, oh, I just get this one day, and then they get like worked up, and then they like, I couldn't even eat anything because I was nervous about it. So don't be that, but just know it's kind of going to be another little learning process, another like hump on that learning curve. So like everything so far, give yourself some grace with it. So the way we're going to start is just doing one day. So 6 days, slightly lower carbs, one day higher. And we'll do that for 2 weeks, kind of practice. And then we'll shift again into a 5-2, a 5-2 split. And that's where I want all of you guys to stay. Even if you feel like, hey, I don't think I'm not hitting my macros consistently yet. I still want you to implement the high carb day because it's going to help your fat loss. It's going to help boost your metabolism. It's going to help your mindset. Any questions about that? I'm going to go through how to calculate it. Smart kid. Who are you talking about, Laura?
Oh, my kiddo charged me money to go get the milk from the
Oh.
Ask me. You just told me I could have.
I offered. I do have a question with that, Annie. For the high carb, do they have to be consecutive days, or can you, you know,
Yes.
Friday
Great
and
question.
Sunday, or?
Really great question. Okay, so it's preferable to have them 2 days back to back, because what that's going to do is one day is going to prevent metabolic adaptation. It's going to prevent your metabolism from slowing down. But 48 hours of full carb replenishment is going to restore your hormone levels, so your hormones don't start to get messed up from being in a deficit. So ideally, I love for people to pick, Friday and Saturday, Saturday and Sunday, kind of whatever works best for your life. However, if you have like an event, like say, you're going to a networking event, or you have a birthday party or something on Tuesday or Thursday, you can definitely split it up to plan, to make it work in your life. But in general, I would prefer everyone to have 2 back-to-back high carb days once we get into it. That's a great question. Any other questions?
I'm having spaghetti and meatballs every weekend.
I love pasta too, and Fred doesn't love it, so I'm like, that's okay. I'll just have all yours.
I'm eating sourdough French bread.
Oh,
Yum.
If I was on a desert island, it would be sourdough French bread and something.
oh, that sounds amazing. And eggs. Get that protein and bacon. Oh, this sounds good. Maybe we should do a post in the Facebook group what everyone's planning to do for their first high carb day. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go through the calculation. I'm just going to do on one of yours. And I have the sheet set up that you guys, it's basically plug it in. But I think I need to go, I'll double check them all for you and just make sure they're set up right. Does anybody want to be the guinea pig and get your macros done live in living color right now? Laura, okay, thanks for volunteering.
I really hate math. That's why.
I mean, I did my best to take the work out of it for you guys, but let's see. Laura Johnson, here we are. Okay, so the first time I taught this course, I did it like a slide that had like the math equations, like long math. And I think everyone just looked at me with like glazed eyes. So this is a much easier way to do it. I'm just going to talk you through it while I do it, so you'll understand the basics. But with the template that I have for you guys, you don't really need to do any of the math by hand. Oh, this is not responding. Please respond. Okay, here it comes. Okay, so here's Laura's. Okay, so if this should look familiar to you guys, on your macro calculations tab is where you're going to go to get it. Okay, and then Laura's is set to a 6 to a 5-2. Probably most of yours might say that, so I'll go in tomorrow and adjust it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have your weekly average right here on this third line. So this is protein, which did not update from when we changed it. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, and then fat is over here. fat and protein are going to stay the same. You see they're the same in all the different rows. And then the carbs is the one that we're going to mess with, the carbs and the calories. So the third line right here is your weekly average. That should be the same as we're seeing right here. Of course, this didn't update, so hold on a sec. Okay, so right here is a weekly average. It should be the same as what we're seeing up here. So 134 grams of protein, 66.1, this is 67 grams of fat, and then 212 grams of carbs. So for the 6-1 day, you get 1.5 times the average of carbs. Okay, so this is set for, if you're doing 2 days, each day is going to be 1.25 times the average. Okay, so this is, I'm going to change it to 1.5 for 6-1. So this means on Laura's high carb day, she gets 273 grams of delicious carbs. So that's about 60 grams more than on the average day. Let me see if this is set to update. So this, okay. And then I'm just going to calculate her calories. So that's 9 times the fat plus carbs times 4 calories plus the protein times 4 calories. Okay, so her high carb day calories are 2,232. So the next thing we're going to do is use those numbers to calculate her lower carb days. We're going to call these lower carb days because no one here is on a low carb diet. Okay. So for that, we're going to take her total her average. Again, don't worry about this math. I'll do it for you guys. I just want you to know kind of where these numbers come from. So we'll do the average times 7. So that's her total amount of carbs she's getting, minus her higher carb day times 1, because there's just 1, and then divided by 6, because there's 6 lower carb days. And she gets 202 grams of carbs for those lower carb days. So you can see it's just 10 grams less on the lower carb days. And we're taking all those carbs and we're dumping them on Sunday for brunch or whatever she chooses. Pasta, brunch, mimosas, whatever. Okay, so let me just update these calories. We're going to do the same thing over here. So it's the fat times 9. Oops, 9 plus the carbs times 4 plus the protein times 4 again. So our lower carb days are 1950. So that's, you see, that's just like 60 calories lower than we've been doing than the average. And then that high carb day, or no, it's not even, because this is actually her average. Sorry, I didn't update this. Okay, so her regular average is 1983. Her lower carb day calorie target is just like 30 calories less, which makes sense because it's just 10 grams less. So, you know, about 30, 40 calories. But then this high carb day is 2,200. Okay, so before I move on, any questions about that? Just sort of like the formula and how the math works? Anybody? Okay. So again, don't be scared about the math. Like you can do it yourself if you want, but will go in and just double check everybody's. Your formula might be set to a 5-2 day, but I want all of you to do a 6-1 for this week and next week, and then we'll shift to 5-2. So just you can practice planning the one day. As a practical matter, I really recommend setting your MyFitnessPal to this low carb day. And then just on that one high carb day, know that you're going to be over by 60 grams of carbs. And that's okay. You're actually aiming to go over by 60 grams. The other thing you can do is go into MyFitnessPal and change it back and forth. Some people prefer to do that so that even on that Sunday, they're still hitting their macros exactly. Some people are like, that's too much of a pain. I don't want to go back and forth. I actually keep it the same. I changed mine, but I actually put a sticky on the back of my phone too. So I know I can just like look at my phone and have it. But I recommend to just set it to your lower carb day numbers. And then when you're reporting in the check-in sheet, you're still going to hit the same average and just tell me your average. And I can look in your MyFitnessPal to see how it's going on the high carb days versus the low carb days. Okay, questions? None. Okay, amazing. So
I have a MyFitnessPal question real quick.
yeah, sure.
You guys may have been talking about this when I first got on in the car. I need your email address because it won't let me just find you.
Oh,
So
you
so
can
how
just
do
use
I,
my
what do I
username.
use?
You can use my username. I put a picture of that in the Facebook group. I'll just tag you. It's AM Trimberger.
But it needs an email address. It's telling me I need an email address.
Oh, that's weird. What is your username? I can see if I can just do it the other way and add you.
That would be great.
Yeah.
It did that for me too at first, and then I don't know, I did something, and then it was allowed me to do it just with her username.
You kept trying.
Yeah.
I just got mad.
What is your username, BB?
I'm finding it.
Okay.
Oh wait, I put it in my, it's in my thing. It's in my
In your check-in sheet?
yeah.
Okay, I can find it.
Okay.
Okay, I can find that and add you as a friend.
Okay.
Mary just added me. I have Laura, I have Michelle, I have Ambria, I have Ariel. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna end it right there, you guys. For the first time, we're not gonna go over. I know you guys all have other stuff to do. We'll talk about stress next week. Good luck. Enjoy your high carb day. Did you find it, baby? Or you have a
I
question?
did.
Okay, what is it?
It's BEB 9706. Thank you.
And Annie, you posted the grocery or the grocery seminar, right? Or webinar?
Oh, the meal planning one?
Yeah, the meal plan.
Yeah, I did not yet. I need to download it, so I'll do
Oh.
that tomorrow.
Okay.
Who, I'm trying to think, was any of you guys on it? Yeah, BB, yeah. Was that helpful, you guys?
Super
Okay.
helpful. I just
Oh.
did my grocery shopping today, finally, a couple days behind. But
Sure. That's
super
awesome.
helpful.
Okay, good. Okay, well, I will download that tomorrow and then I'll share it and post it in the group. So if you missed it, you can catch it then. Okay, awesome. You guys, great call. Thank you all for being on here. You're doing amazing, all of you. Keep it up. I'll send you guys your individualized feedback tomorrow. Have a great rest of your week, okay?
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Good night.